54321, having ISP problems.
We're not up on the feed. Okay. Okay.
Oh, hey there. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you hear me okay now? I'm having some IFB problems, but I can hear you intermittently. Check 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, let me stop walking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on After GMS. It is a cold and crisp Friday morning, October 21st. I'm Tracy McCain here with Christian Morgan and Megan Malaris. Hello to all of you.
Hello. Yeah, hello to those of you already jumping on, some of our regulars and some new faces. I think excited to talk about the Panthers. Well, maybe excited to talk about it, but not so excited about the topic at hand. With regard to Christian McCaffrey.
News, right?
All right, we'll dive into that first, but we got to dive into this forecast. Temperatures actually coming out of our downward climb.
It's been a slow moving process because most mornings this week have looked like this out in your yard with a bit of frost across the Piedmont. This morning, there's likely some patchy frost, but maybe not in every town. Probably in the outlying areas in the rural spots, but most likely not in the cities this morning. Take a look at where our low temperatures have been though over the last week. We were in the low 50s Monday morning, mid 30s on Tuesday morning, and ever since then we've been hovering right around the freezing mark each morning. We're there again this morning, but starting to emerge out of the freezing realm of things as we go into the weekend. With a beautiful look all across the Piedmont this morning. Sunrise just up at about 20 minutes ago. Sunrise at 7:32 this morning. 35 in Greensboro, 39 in Winston-Salem right now. Freezing in Asheboro, 30 in Troy, and we're still cold to the south, but you see warmth building out in the plains and in the middle of the country. That warmth is going to be headed toward us as we go into the weekend. So high pressure in control of our weather right now does keep us high and dry. As it moves away from us, we now have more of a southwesterly wind, which is typically a warmer wind direction and will also be the case as we go into the weekend. Over the weekend, though, there is going to be this area of low pressure that starts to develop off the coast. And what that's going to do is not only throw some clouds towards the coast, but also throw some scattered showers along the beaches and along eastern North Carolina. I think we could see a few high clouds in the Piedmont, but we're going to stay rain-free from this as it really stays offshore. For today, a frosty start at times for some folks, but a much nicer afternoon of weather with sunshine and temperatures into the mid-60s as we get into the afternoon. Weekend looks a bit better too. We'll be chilly in the morning, low to mid-40s, but ending up near 70 for Saturday and Sunday afternoon. Maybe you're headed to do some leaf peeping this weekend. I would say, honestly, the best spot now is not along the parkway or in the higher elevations. Boone, Blowing Rock, the towns still look pretty good, but those highest elevations now are moving past peak. I think two really good spots to see color this weekend are going to be Hanging Rock and Pilot Mountain. Yes, there's going to be a crowd though, so you have to deal with that, as there is always when there's nice weather on a Saturday or a Sunday. But I think that's where the good color is this weekend. For the mountains today, sunshine in 50s. Saturday, sunshine in low 60s. A little bit warmer with mid 60s today in Asheville and upper 60s over the weekend. Bit of a different story this weekend along the coast with the extra clouds and the shower chance, especially on Sunday. You might have to deal with that, but temperatures are a bit warmer in the 70s from Myrtle Beach to Wrightsville Beach up to the Crystal Coast of North Carolina. Back here at home, we do stay dry, low 70s as we head into a new week. We are starting to need some rain, but it'll be a little while before we get a good, decent shot at some rain. There's a low chance of a few showers on Wednesday with another front, but right now that doesn't look very impressive to me.
Well, we're continuing our coverage of our top story this morning out of Charlotte. The Carolina Panthers have traded star running back Christian McCaffrey. This word was confirmed late last night, and it's not being received well by Panthers fans.
No, not now, probably not ever. He was traded to the San Francisco 49ers late last night. So in exchange for that, the Panthers will get a bunch of draft picks in return. It looks like they'll get a second, third, and fourth round pick in the upcoming draft. They'll also get a fifth round pick in next year's NFL draft. That's all according to NFL insiders.
All right, so the team was not always consistent, but McCaffrey was. He posted 2,300 scrimmage yards in 2019. The next two seasons with injuries were tough. He played 10 games between 2020 and 21, and this season appeared to be his bounce back year with more than 600 yards.
So we knew changes would probably be on the way after the team fired coach Matt Rule last week. Remember, he went 11-27 in his 3 years with the Panthers. And earlier in this week, this argument on the sideline led to a trade of wide receiver Robbie Anderson. Now it's the team's brightest star, Christian McCaffrey, who is on the way out, or actually, since he was traded last night, we won't even see him play this Sunday.
Yeah, that's disappointing, I think, for a lot of fans. The team posted this just after midnight. It said simply, "Thank you, run CMC," and comments are coming in.
Oh yeah, especially on our Facebook page. As soon as it was posted, Dan wrote in and said, "Good for him. He's going to a quality franchise that has a chance of winning." Scott said, "Best offensive player we have, now gone." Richard said, "It's going to be a whole lot of empty seats Sunday, and any seats that were filled are going to be with Bucs fans." Jesse said, "They know by the time we get a decent team together, McCaffrey will be worn out, so she thinks maybe it was a smart move." Perhaps. The one person who's winning right now is probably Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers offense, which already has a rock-solid squad. So they're clear winners in this situation. I'm not sure when our winning of this will come. You know, in the scenario of things, it's going to be a while before whatever picks we get are incorporated into the team and start producing, you know, for us in terms of wins. So it could be a while.
All right, let's look at this with a broader lens, okay? It is bad for Panthers fans.
Bad.
Like you said, I don't think we'll ever be okay with this trade to see Christian McCaffrey go. Now, on a broader spectrum, the more I look at this, I think it was actually a very good business deal for the Panthers.
Okay, explain.
It was actually a really good business.
Before he got hurt.
Remember, business deal
because it is
for
a
the Panthers.
Business.
Because we've got to do something. So you get rid of McCaffrey, you trade McCaffrey, and you get 3 draft picks, and not just 3 draft picks, second, third, and fourth round draft picks. So we've got 3 consistent rounds of draft picks in order to rebuild? Because, I mean, let's face it, we're at rock bottom. We are at rock bottom.
Right, last in the NFL.
Right, we're last in the NFL. We're last. We've got to do something, and this going to take some time to rebuild. This is not a thing, I think, where you can, draft a player and pull another player and maybe change a coach or two and expect it all to turn around. This is going to be a rebuilding process. So I think businessly, in the deal world, this was probably a good transaction for the Panthers. Again, bad for fans, bad. Especially if you're McCaffrey. And I guess if you're McCaffrey, maybe it's a good thing for you because now he's got a chance to maybe go after a ring. He's not going to have that with the Panthers for a while. And he's back close to home. So maybe overall it's not a bad thing. But as Panthers fans and for Carolina people, it stings.
Yeah, so Christian McCaffrey just put out a statement on Instagram. He said, "I'm forever grateful for all the people who have helped make this past 5.5 years so special for me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Carolina, I will always love you. # keep pounding."
Yeah. I mean, he does love the Panthers. It was his first team out of college. He's always, given so much of himself, not only to the team, but to the state. So, yeah, his heart will probably always live or have a place in Carolina. And we'll certainly, always thinking of him in high regard as well. As to your point about the rebuilding, I get it now because this is exactly what we saw Cleveland do a few years ago. They were rock bottom. They hadn't won more than one game in multiple years. And then they got the first round draft pick for being the last in the NFL. Then they had traded for some other picks and then they slowly rebuilt. And then last year we saw them explode and they were in the conference championship.
And they beat the Panthers this year.
They did, but that wasn't hard to do.
I'm just throwing that out
But
there.
now I see, what you're talking about. It's more of a start from the bare bottom and then build your way. It just takes a while because that franchise rebuild took at least 5 years.
We can no longer patch things up or add a patch here, use some duct tape here. It's going to have to take a whole redo.
So keep in mind, this all comes less than 2 weeks after the Panthers fired head coach Matt Rule. Steve Wilks is now in that interim position, possibly in contention to get that head coach job. And unfortunately, I don't think he necessarily got a fair shake here either. I don't know whose decision it was. He could have had influence in this. We don't know at this point. But
they rarely do when it comes to trades.
Yeah, so, Steve Wilks has had only one game as the interim head coach. That was last weekend. Obviously, didn't go our way. They were playing a very tough team, the Los Angeles Rams. And so he's kind of at a crossroads, too, as far as how to move this team forward. Now waiting for the draft and that chance to rebuild, that really won't start until next year.
It's a good ways away.
Right. And I feel bad for the Panthers who, they're probably working so hard at practice. They finally get a little momentum and then it's another announcement. They finally get a little momentum and then there's another, blow to their confidence. And now they are heading into a Sunday home game against a very competitive Tom Brady and Tampa Buccaneers.
And out for blood team after they lost last week.
Right, exactly. And you've got multiple hits. I'm hoping this motivates them. Like, you know what? We are one team with or without one player. And we're going to go out there and do our best. That's what I hope.
So a few quick comments here. James said, to your point, Tracy, getting compared to Cleveland hurts worse than this trade.
That's true.
It does hurt. It really does.
John said this will mean more seats for the opposing team at Bank of America Stadium. If you think San Francisco filled the stadium, wait until Pittsburgh comes to town.
Oh, a lot of black and yellow.
Yeah, this viewer said Panthers' biggest mistake ever. Wish Christian the best. And Tyler said Carolina could make a good move and pick up Lamar Jackson in the offseason if Baltimore cannot.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a long few years as the team rebuilds. I cannot wait until the first news conference with new coach and Tepper to see what details they can provide and confirm for us so that we can have a better idea of what happened behind the scenes.
We're hearing that might happen around noon, so stay tuned to our new newscast and we'll keep you covered. Let's get to some of our other morning headlines here. A very disturbing case out of Davidson County where 3 adults face charges after investigators found a child locked in an outdoor dog kennel early Wednesday morning as temperatures hovered near freezing. The 9-year-old boy went to the hospital for evaluation and is in social services custody, as are 4 other children who lived in the home. The people you just saw in those mugshots are the child's father, stepmother, and aunt, who investigators say were home at the time and now face felony child abuse and false imprisonment charges.
A man from Mebane making headlines this morning because he is facing felony charges after investigators say he attacked a deputy and led them on a chase. The chase started around 8:45 Tuesday night on Highway 70. Deputies say they tried to stop Jerry Turner for speeding when he then took off and drove further into a field. 2 people then jumped out of the car as Turner continued driving, and then he crashed near the Flying J truck stop. At that point, they say Turner jumped out of the van and assaulted one of the deputies before being taken into custody.
Forsyth County commissioners will consider more money to attract hundreds of manufacturing jobs to our area. They discussed $400,000 for Project Bluefin. The identity of the company is still unclear, but we know it could create up to 600 new jobs over the next decade if Forsyth County, or if it chooses rather, Forsyth County. The county commission expects to vote next week.
Early voting underway in our state. You have until Saturday, November 5th to do that and vote early. You can register and vote at the same time. We saw quite a few people going to vote early in Guilford County yesterday. They said they all wanted to have their vote counted in this midterm election. You can get more information about the early voting process and the midterm election on our website, or text the word VOTE to 336-379-5775 and we'll send you our voter guide.
All right, weather-wise, another chilly morning, frosty morning for some across the Piedmont. Sunshine and a bit warmer this afternoon as we get into the mid-60s. The weekend will be a bit better too. Cool in the morning, but upper 60s to near 70 for the afternoon. We stay warm heading into a new week. Do need some rain, but only a low chance for it on Wednesday.
All right, this is going to be the talker for at least the next few weeks as they have their first matchup without Christian McCaffrey on Sunday. We're talking about the Panthers, of course, and then some pretty intense conversations between reporters and Tepper and probably Coach Wilkes as well.
We'll watch out for that coming up probably later today.
It's going to be good.
All right, we will see you back on our main channel at 9 o'clock for the Good Morning Show at 9. Get out there and get to it.
See ya.